February of 1987, we met then. I had come to interview at Holy Blossom. We were both on the younger side then. Beny was 42, I was 35. And as I'm sitting with him in his office, I'm trying to figure out who in the world is this guy? An Israeli, obviously, a son of the German Jewish tradition, clearly, really an East European Jew at heart, but also an American and a Canadian to boot. And Jewishly, even though he was the cantor of a Reformed synagogue, I knew he wasn't Reformed. But neither was he modern Orthodox, which is how he'd grown up, and neither was he conservative. He had once served as a cantor in a conservative synagogue in Philly. In fact, Beny was none of these things, but he really was all of those things. And the most interesting people are those, and Beny is one of them, who are at home everywhere, Jewishly, and in some ways at home nowhere. Those are the really interesting people, and they're the ones you want to learn from and in many ways emulate. That's Beny. Second place to emulate Beny is the hospital or the home. When somebody is suffering, ill, there's no visitor like Beny Meisner. He leans in. It's as if he's leaning in with his entire body. And it's as if it's heart to heart, Beny's heart and your heart, so that when somebody is suffering in any context, Beny responds from his own aches. And in fact, if you look, in those situations, his eyes are always moist. The third place is Israel. Beny and I spent a wonderful afternoon a couple of summers ago on the beach in Tel Aviv, sitting under an umbrella, doing what we both love to do in Tel Aviv, on the beach, and that is eating watermelon. We were speaking largely about our respective childhoods because Beny's childhood haunts his home, his apartment, his childhood synagogue where he learned to be a boy chazan, only a few blocks away. We spoke from the deep love of Israel that we shared. It was part of our bond. Originally, it became an even stronger bond in the days of the Second Intifada when Israel was under daily attack. And I would speak about it from the bimah and Beny would cheer me on. And in any case, finishing the watermelons, we took off for his childhood synagogue. He wanted to show it to me. And again, his eyes were moist in that shtibel. It's where he learned to become a boy chazan. It was the place of his teacher, Leibel Glantz. And I suspect it's where Beny started on the road. Remember, he's only 8, 9, 10 years old when he's a boy cantor. He started on the road then and there at that place, that shtibel, to becoming the Beny Meisner that we would know, the passionate and knowledgeable exemplar of Jewish music, knowledgeable about Jewish ideas as well, occasionally aggravating, always lovable, and a cantor who has had as remarkable and as consequential a run as any rabbi or any cantor that I know of. Which brings us to this time when we are fortunate to celebrate with Beny this moment, with hope. He wouldn't be Beny without hope and his family. And with this remarkable run, let us pray and hope that in fact it is not over. God willing, the run continues and we all benefit from one another for decades to come.